So what is brainstorming? We've all been involved in brainstorming exercises where, we generate a lot of ideas, and then somebody collects up those ideas and makes a great big long list of bullet points out of it, and it goes into a report that we never look at again. And somehow I feel that that form of brainstorming just really doesn't work, and it really just doesn't acknowledge the power of real brainstorming, where we actually get this process of individual brainstorming and then collective sense making out of it. And so design thinking really gathers those two processes together and really builds something that can be really great out of this process. So why do I love brainstorming? Brainstorming is just creativity and it's fun. It's about pulling all of those ideas in and just breaking free and letting go. Brainstorming is about really generating a whole lot of creative ideas that other people can also get triggered by and can ideate and fire off. So there are techniques about brainstorming that I wanted to share with you. The first one is really that we need to find a very quiet place in our minds to do individual brainstorming. So it always starts with individual brainstorming. So finding that really quiet place. If you're in a Zoom call, for example, turn your microphone and your video off. Really important, because you don't want other people talking or interrupting your flow. The second thing is, the first ideas are going to be ideas that people have talked about before, you've come across, and they're kind of like you're just unplugging some of those ideas. So you've got to push past that first 3 or 5 ideas that are fairly straightforward. And that's when you really start to think about ways of solving the problem or ideas that you haven't thought about before. So the idea of rapid brainstorming is that we're kind of placing our brains under pressure to push out as many ideas as we can. And in the process, what we're not doing is filtering or discarding any ideas. So any idea is a relevant and good idea. It just needs to go down. And so collecting as many ideas as you possibly can without judging. What you're doing is you're going for volume. And you're trying to sort of build on the conversations of the past, but really focusing your inner energy on your own creative process. Resist solutions, because it's really all about throwing those ideas out there and be wild and be creative. And sometimes, if you really want to get into another way of brainstorming, doing some physical exercise beforehand, or being visual and trying to draw those ideas, can really exercise different parts of your brain so that you can actually unleash some of that creativity. So that's the individual brainstorming session. And sometimes in a mural, for example, we'll give you 2 or 3 minutes just to do rapid fire ideation. The second part of this is where you actually pens down, stop, look at your paper, then start to look at other people's ideas. And that process of drawing together and really starting to realize that some of your ideas connect with other people's ideas, and you start to cluster that process. So that process of clustering is a kind of a brainstorming in groupthink in many ways, because you're bringing together those individual ideas and you're arranging them in a way that new ideas or new solutions start to emerge, and they're a bit richer and a lot more multi-dimensional than your own thinking, because you're starting to get that fertilization of those other ideas, and you're starting to realize that what you started out with was really just kind of a bit black and white, but you're starting to really develop some depth and some really creative thought process in that process. So what we've started with here is this process of individual brainstorming and then kind of a collective ordering or clustering, or what we call affinity clustering in design thinking. Really, really powerful if this is done well. and you actually stick in that process of making sure that you ideate individually and then you pull that together as a group. So you're really bringing together and leveraging individual and group think into that process. So that's what we'd like to achieve in this exercise, and let's go for it.